Bushwick Bill, a member of the group Ghetto Boys, died. Bushwick Bill, whose real name is Richard Shaw, died Sunday night in Colorado.
Music fans and celebrities are grieving the loss of rapper Bushwick Bill. 3-6 Mafia rapper Juicy J posted this photo along with the caption, R.I.P. the legend, Bushwick Bill. Prayers up for his family. The founding member of the Houston rap group, the Ghetto Boys, died in Colorado last night.
The Ghetto Boys are a hip-hop group representing Houston, Texas. The original group consisted of DJ Ready Red, Raheem, Sir Rap-A-Lot, and Jukebox.
The first three GBs were Raheem, Sir Rap-A-Lot, and Jukebox. Those were the original three Ghetto Boys.
Sir Rap-A-Lot, the brother of Jake Prince, would unfortunately go to jail. Raheem ultimately ended up going solo. Ready Red remained on board as the DJ. Upon the debut album Making Trouble being released in 1988, Prince Johnny C had joined the group along with Jukebox, DJ Ready Red, and Bushwick Bill. It wouldn't be long before the group's lineup would change. Johnny C ended up leaving the group on his own, as well as Jukebox, leaving room for the group you now know today as the Ghetto Boys, which consisted of Willie D, DJ Action, aka Scarface, and Bushwick Bill. However, the most controversial member of the Ghetto Boys was also its chartist. Dancer slash hype man turned rapper, Bushwick Bill stood just 3'8", having been born with dwarfism. Bushwick quickly became one of the group's three dominant personalities alongside Scarface and Willie D. These are the events that would take place before, during, and after the death of Bushwick Bill. Hailing from Kingston, Jamaica, Richard Stephen Shaw, aka Bushwick Bill, was born December the 8th of 1966. Bushwick Bill was raised in Brooklyn, New York by immigrant parents. Often bullied because of his size, the young Bushwick Bill would commit violent acts of revenge on those who had wronged him. Looking to change his violent ways, Bushwick had plans on shipping out to Redemption Ministry Fellowship in Minnesota and to embark on a missionary trip to India. However, Bushwick instead ended up in Houston's 5th Ward, where he was supposed to see his sister before leaving for India. The city's rap scene challenged his perception of the South as nothing but cowboys and horses. He was immediately drawn to the H-Town culture. Bushwick, who grew up alongside the birth of hip-hop, listening to Rapper's Delight in the 6th grade and learning to breakdance as soon as it became a fad, had found his niche. This new style of dance caught the attention of everyone in the clubs he set foot in, including Jay Prince of Rap-A-Lot Records, who invited Bushwick to join the Ghetto Boys as a dancer and hype man just days after his arrival to Houston. After the collapse of the original Ghetto Boys, Bushwick would join the group with his first song, Size Ain't Shit, which was written by Willie D.
Cause I'm gonna write you some serious shit. I say, let me write him something, man. If he do it, he in the group, right? So Jay was like, I don't know, Jay like real cautious. He's like, I don't know, man. Bill, what you think? Bill was like, I don't know, but I can try, and I asked him some personal questions about himself, and I embellished it with what I thought it might be like to walk in his shoes. And I came up with Size Ain't Shit.
Unbeknownst to many, Bushwick was very intelligent and was always a notch above the people in his circle, even at one point owning car lots in his early 20s.
That little motherfucker real, man. He was selling fucking cars and shit, made a living out of that shit, bro. That shit was cool. Nigga had car lots and shit as a kid.
Amazing.
Like, who fucking thinks like this?
Nobody.
Not at 20, 21, 22 years old.
Nah.
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 It's amazing to me. Like, I'm 44 and I'm still not on that wavelength right now.
It would be a downward spiral of drug use that led to Bill shooting himself in 1991 in an incident that left him missing an eye and with a bullet permanently lodged in the back of his head. Several different stories would surround this incident. One of those stories was that Bushwick was tripping on that wet and was threatening to throw his girlfriend's kid out of the window if she didn't shoot him. One thing led to another. Bushwick and his girl at the time wrestled over the gun when he would ultimately be shot in the eye. The most recent story would come from Bushwick himself. In a documentary-style interview with the YouTube channel Vice, Bushwick would state that it was actually his mom who shot him after he provoked her to do so. The infamous We Can't Be Stopped album cover was actually not props at all. It was in fact actual footage of Bushwick at the hospital after the incident. In February of 1998, Bushwick was arrested in Homewood, Alabama, after reports of a strong smell of marijuana coming from his room. Bushwick was in the Birmingham suburb to do a personal appearance and autograph session at a local car dealership. Police were called, and upon their arrival to Bushwick's room at the Holiday Inn, they found in Bushwick's possession marijuana as well as a 12-gauge shotgun with 4 live shells. Bushwick's legal troubles would not end here. Bushwick Bill was sentenced to 3 days in jail in January of 2008 for assaulting a woman who had secured a protective order against him. Bushwick allegedly attacked the victim after they left an Austin, Texas nightclub. In 2010, Bushwick Bill was arrested again, this time in Atlanta, and charged with criminal possession of coke and marijuana, where he will face possible deportation. In October of 2010, Bushwick Bill will be a free man after facing the threat of deportation for the arrest in Atlanta in May on drug charges. After facing the threat of deportation for the arrest in Atlanta last May on drug charges, Bushwick Bill won his removal case and was released from custody on October the 18th of 2010. According to his attorney, when Bushwick was arrested for possession of illegal drugs, police did a background check and found that, along with carrying a green card, he had 3 previous convictions on his record. After paying his bail, Bushwick was transferred to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, who tried to initiate removal proceedings against him, but his hearing on the case would rule Bushwick to be a lawful permanent resident of the United States. Although the misdemeanor charges were still pending, Bushwick's attorney was confident that he would not have to serve any more time behind bars. In an unfortunate turn of events, Bushwick Bill will lose his life on June the 9th of 2019. Bushwick died at a Colorado hospital of pancreatic cancer. Bushwick's death was confirmed by his sister, Anne Marie White. He was 52 years old at the time of his death. Bushwick passed away peacefully at 9:35 p.m. on a Sunday night. He was surrounded by his immediate family at the time of his tragic death. There was talk of a farewell tour just a few weeks before Bushwick's death, with a portion of the proceeds benefiting pancreatic cancer awareness. Unfortunately, this tour would never happen. Bushwick was admitted to the hospital on May the 24th, where he posted updates on his health and had hoped to embark on his own solo tour benefiting cancer patients and new music to generate residual income for his kids.
I've missed you, darling. While you've been gone these past few days. You know, I love you so much. Wow, I mean, I just can't explain it. I knew you couldn't stay gone too long. You know what?
Pancreatic cancer has the lowest 5-year survival rate of any major cancer in the United States at only 9%. In 2019, more than 56,000 people was diagnosed and approximately 45,000 died from the disease. Additionally, the African American community has the biggest incidence rate of pancreatic cancer, up to 67% higher than the incidence rates for other racial ethnic groups. Bushwick joined a growing list of other notable public figures, including actors and musicians who have passed away from pancreatic cancer.
Now, if you don't know that song by the Ghetto Boys, then you're not a Houstonian. The legendary rap group put Houston on the map. One of its members is the iconic Bushwick Bill. Bill started with the group as a dancer and then elevated to rapper. He's made a long list of solo albums on his own, and there's more to come. Unfortunately, Bill shocked the world earlier this month when he announced he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. But Bill ain't going nowhere. We're going to keep him right here on The Factor Uncensored, right here in this world. And he joins us with his son on The Factor Uncensored today, Young No. We want to welcome you guys to The Factor Uncensored. Good to see you, sir. You doing all right?
Yes, sir.
So, obviously, you made the announcement back in early May 1st, that you were diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 4. How are you doing now?
It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of meditation. It's a lot of taking yourself out of the equation. For me, it has to do with no woe it's me. It's more prepare for the battle each day. You know, just know that it's a battle. You know what I mean? And the things that bother me the most is like, if you call someone and you say, I'm putting together a benefit to help my situation with pancreatic cancer, and everybody agrees, then all of a sudden it turns into a tour that has nothing to do with my situation. So it's kind of really hard to how to feel certain things, but I love Ghetto Boys. As a group, love them. Individually, love them. But the title to this tour, The Long Goodbye, I mean, I'm the one that knows that pancreatic cancer is one of those iffy things. That there is no, yeah, you could do 6 months of this and you'll be okay, or a year of this and you'll be okay. So the title itself bothers me.
Right.
So that's a lot of stuff that I'm going through. And then reason why I had to make the announcement was because I went to the rodeo and I had a hat on and I just did chemo. So I had a cowboy hat on, and the chemo makes you get hot and cold flashes. So I looked like I was just sweating, like for no apparent reason. The picture just looked weird. And my daughter said people were making weird comments and it bothered her. So then I was like, well, then I had to tell her when she called me about the internet. I was like, well, the doctor finally told me what stage it is and exactly what the situation is. The next 90 days of chemo determines what they're going to tell me, like this much more treatment could do this, or it doesn't matter what we do, you got to cut out half your stomach like we said originally, we got to cut off half of your pancreas, half of your liver, half of your liver and bladder, and then we're still going to give you chemo, but your body's not going to be able to accept it. That means possibility that you'll die. I mean, these are the thoughts that I have. You know, between trying to figure out the group, not getting upset with me not liking a title that doesn't speak life.
Have you had that conversation with Willie D and Scarface as of yet?
I've spoken to Willie so far. I haven't had an in-depth conversation with Face yet, but I just don't like the title. It doesn't speak life. And it's like, I'm raised Jamaican with people with strong belief, and we believe that life and death is in the power of the tongue. You know what I mean? And I believe that if the tour is speaking life, I'm with that. But if I get on stage and perform, then I'm agreeing that I'm starting a journey on a long goodbye. That means I know I'm dying and I don't know how soon or how long. It's like, I don't even want to entertain those thoughts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And how tough is it to even think about that, though?
That's the whole thing. It's like, I love my kids, and it's like, the thing that bothered me the most when I really got the news was how many entertainers, right, don't leave anything for their kids or never thought that far ahead that something might happen to them.
Right.
So my first line of attack was, Bill, you need to do a bunch of music because your old music gonna sell regardless. That got nothing to do with your kids. You know what I mean? I'm sure there'll be love and things issued and given to them, but no one has to actually do anything from your old records and give them anything. It's not a must. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna let old record sales and your kids starve? Or you're gonna create new records, new moments, new everything. So from I got the news, I'm up to 32 songs now and I'm finished with the album. So that way, whichever way this thing goes, I live to perform all the records, then I get to enjoy the music I put out. If I don't, at least my kids do not have to look at other records sell and wonder why I didn't do what I was supposed to do when I was younger, which I didn't know anything, you know what I mean?
And that's because you don't own that music.
Right, I don't own it, and I didn't sign paperwork to own it. I was just happy to be rapping.
Right.
I didn't care about the future. I mean, I'm young, and it's like I get to be famous, I get to be on stage, and no one's pointing at the little guy no more and making fun of the little guy. Now it's, oh my God, it's Bushwick Bill. It's like, I was caught up in that, not being an item that people made a spectacle of just because of the way I was born. To all of a sudden being this person that's legendary, everybody respects. We just love this guy, Bushwick. It's like, I still remember the days when people pointed and laughed at me and threw things at me because look at the funny guy. You know what I mean? So
is that something that you can let go, or is it still a painful place for you?
It's still a painful place because that's what keeps me grounded. I do not believe that people love me just because I'm Bushwick Bill. I know that if I wasn't Bushwick Bill, there'd be more naysays than praise says. You know what I mean? They wouldn't be uplifting me, they'll be downgrading me. You know what I mean? So it's a place where it keeps me grounded to know that fame is a mirage. And like if I was in the desert for a long time and I really think there's water there, it's like if I really think people love me because I'm short, I'm lying to myself. Because if I wasn't famous, I would be living the life I was living before the fame. I wouldn't have any regrets.
And you and Young No have spent a lot of time together. You guys were in the studio late.
Yeah.
I got texts from you guys from your son at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
And you guys are working. You've been working on new projects.
Yeah, I got a song.
Tell us about the new projects that you have.
Oh, I'm really excited about the new project because it's...
And Mark, can we put up that album cover that they sent to us? And tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, and it's like, I would say to date, this is the kind of music that Tupac would talk about where he says, I wear my heart on my sleeves. It's like, I didn't pull no punches, I didn't hold anything back. I'm letting you know what I'm afraid of, what my anticipations are, what this emotional roller coaster of a journey of dying after I lost my eye, coming back. The journey actually goes further than that because if I remember before my mom passed, me and her was talking and she's like, wow, Bill, you've come a long way. I'm 85, I come a long way. And I remember when I was giving birth to you and you was a breech baby and we both almost died. And then she's like, I watch you grow and then I see you almost die again and then you die. And then you're back again. And it's like, all she kept telling me was be resilient. Whatever it is, God ain't finished with me. It's like she knew there was something else that was going to come up, but she just couldn't say it to me. It's like she knew something, and she was just like, just stay strong and know that it's another journey. It's just another fight. You've been fighting your whole life from you was in my womb, so don't let this bother you. And she didn't know what this was, but she just does a last encouragement to me.
All right. And we want to thank you for coming on The Factor. For those who want to get that new music, where can they find it?
The new music will only be on Bushwick Bill Stream Live on my site strictly. I'm not giving it to Spotify, iTunes, anybody, because I don't understand Mariah Carey selling 150 million streams and getting $30,000. I'm so good on that. I'm doing it out the trunk on my site. You know what I mean? Like the money goes to my kids and the 10% goes to the patients, because the way I'm setting up my Bushwick Outreach Foundation, I'm not receiving the money to me at all. It goes into the bank and I go to the hospital before the money comes in and find all the cancer patients who are like me in the situation where they tell you come get chemo, and then the minute you show up they be like, the insurance paid. I'm like, okay. Then it's like, but we can't do chemo today. I'm like, why? Oh, we need $3,178.78 before we could actually start. I'm like, but I did everything for the insurance to pay for this. It's like, so that shocked me so much and hurt me that I want to give the patients the money. You know what I mean? I want to go to the hospital, find out who needs help with their bill. I don't want to give it to a facility. I want to give it to the person. And I want that person to pay their bill.